live. So this is Turn Your Messaging into Magic. I'm Erin Pennings, and I only have 3 bars this morning. I think it must be frozen because I'm in Wisconsin. It was 8 below this morning, according to Alexa. I haven't set foot outside yet. So, and Tish Weber's here. You know Miss Tish. I can't even say it. Tishspiration.
That's right.
So thanks for joining me.
You're
so
welcome.
Tish is my guinea pig today, as we are both testing out BeLive's guest option. And then this is the first time I've had a guest. So you are number 1 and awesome. Do you want, I mean, everyone knows you that's in the WEN group because you're always live there, but I'm also streaming to my Facebook page as well as YouTube and LinkedIn. So would you like to introduce yourself? Is this thing on?
So to those of you who don't know who I am Tish Weber. I run right under the pen name Tish MacWeber. I'm an indie published author. I DIY built my own website, purchased a template from a friend who had Divi for the website we're going to look at today. And I'm currently spinning my wheels around getting my Tishspiration website going. That is something that's on the books for this quarter, hopefully this month, if I can stop long enough to get the keyboard going for my own purposes instead of all the other things I do. And it's going to be amazing because I want them to connect to each other. So this is my website, and I'll give you a little bit of a history about my website before we take a look at it. I started it because I wanted to share my lyrics with the world. Didn't want to blog. Didn't want to do any of that. I just wanted to get my lyrics out for the public to find them so musicians could collaborate with me. That was the whole reason I started. And I started on WordPress.com, which is a free blogging option for people who are just starting out. And I played with it. I developed it and decided that if I was ever going to sell anything, I would need my own domain name because you're not able to do that on the platform that is free with WordPress. Mm-hmm. I then went to one hosting place with my domain name, and it was okay there, but I wasn't pleased with the customer service, so I switched to SiteGround. I don't know if you're familiar with that one, but that's the one I
they have a really good reputation,
and I really, really like it there. The other one was Bluehost, and the problem I had there was I didn't speak tech enough for their tech support. So I decided to make a jump based on the recommendation of the Women's Entrepreneur Network founder, Haley Gray.
I'm a big fan of SiteGround. They, I don't use them personally, but everyone who I have spoken with has had really good experiences with them, and they're far more customer centric than others that shall not be mentioned. I also really like Lyrical Host. If you're looking for one, they're based in the UK. They're fantastic. And then I'm currently hosted with my friend who is a web developer who solved all of my tech problems. Like in one fell swoop, she leaps tall buildings.
Nice.
So
friends like that, isn't it?
It's really good to have friends like that. And she's actually, I have a client who also happens to be my best friend, who has a website that has been touched by many, many, many people over the years and has lots of little gremlins. And like, she's like, Steph came in and looked at that and she was able to solve it within, I don't know, like a day that people had been trying to solve for 6 months, to no avail. So she's my hero in many ways. So it's good to have those people in your corner.
Yeah, part of the history in my corner is that I have the WordPress.com website is still there.
Okay.
Because I sold, there was no point in dismantling it. Just let it be. And it's the free website, so they manage the security and that there shouldn't be any spam or anything finding me in there. But a lot of the content has moved to what is tishmacweber.com. It's my author website, which started out as more than one thing. Mm-hmm. As you've noticed, I have a store there that I'm going to be closing because I'd like to move it to the Tishspiration site and start working on developing that with more of a purpose towards what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of the stuff I've done over the years isn't panning out as far as anything more than a hobby, and I really want to get serious about building a business with my new website.
Yeah. I love it.
So
So
that's where I'm
that's
at.
not going to live at this domain. It's going to be Tishspiration, or it is going to live at this domain.
It is going to have its own domain.
Okay. And then they'll.
And I'm going to link them. Yeah, exactly. So there'll be a Tishspiration button in the menu for the Tish MacWeber website and vice versa.
Cool. Well, shall we go ahead and dive into Tish MacWeber? I am going to do my best to share the screen here and make sure
Absolutely.
it
And
comes out.
I'll cross
So
my
let's
fingers.
see. We're going to share this. We're testing this. Show in stream. Ooh, this is fancy. So, let me
Now you
see.
have to find the screen that you want to share somewhere, I believe.
Yes. So I think maybe, ha, 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 ha. I'm going to hide us for a moment.
If you're speaking.
Again, this is why this is a guinea pig type of experience. So if we do this,
I'm totally fine with that.
but you can hear me again.
I can hear you again.
Okay, but you couldn't hear me.
Right. When you found my website, I saw it, but I couldn't hear you. So,
Okay.
and
So
I'm
I'm going
not.
to hide you then because I may need to be here to show my voice. Oops. Except I don't want to be big. I want to be little. Okay. Can you still hear me? This thing is on. Congratulations, Erin Pennings. We are here. Okay. Tish Weber. So glad that you're joining me today and that you're bearing with these tech things. So aside from the store, which you said you're closing, which is the boutique, tell me who is your ideal audience here? Okay. Okay. Oh, that is exciting. So I mean, I would say just right off the bat, obviously we know who you are and what this is. That's what's really good about this. I love the clean layout. It's very easy to read. It's not overwhelming with too much going on, which happens a lot, as you probably have experienced going to other people's websites. So I think like what I want to know right off the bat here for this site is, I know what you do. You're an author and a jewelry designer, but it doesn't talk to me anything about the kinds of books that you write. I would want to know um, whether it's, what are some of the books that you've written? Because I mean, different authors pop into various genres. Um, so I think, usually the headline here is what the big end transformation is for business owners. Authors have slightly different requirements because people will go to their sites to learn more about them and their books and what's coming next. So I would almost transform this headline to be the books that you want to be known most for, right? And I think that's your fantasy fiction series, correct? Okay. 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 How fun. So I think I wanna know more about the world building that you're doing. I think that should come somewhere here in the headline. And like I said, the headline's usually about the end transformation, but there's not as much of a transformation for the reader here. It's about what you can give them. So how can you answer the question like what's in it for them? So I would talk about, creator of the, something like meet your new favorite world, meet your new something along those lines, because you want to get them to step inside so that they want to read more. I just recently read something about the only job of any single given line of copy is to get people to read the next line. And I thought that was really interesting. So I think something about that promise, like what are they getting by doing this? And then you can do a little sub headline with, maybe the heart of the world. What are some of the common characteristics of the world? And then beneath that, you can put the different anthologies. You know, and it's hard to picture without knowing a little bit more detail, but that's kind of the short story. But I think the other thing that I would want to do here is I'd want some kind of a call to action, whether it's right here, kind of below this header, or whether it's down here, because you want to get them on your mailing list, I'm guessing. You want to get them to either subscribe to the blog for updates or to subscribe for occasional emails from you or something else. Like whatever that call to action is, I would make sure that if it's not here, if it doesn't fit here, then it goes right here. And, or in this section, you could also do some of the covers of your books and kind of make them rotate like a gallery. That's beyond my technical know-how. So if it doesn't work, then you could just do like a static line, kind of almost like a cred bar. Or if you've been featured anywhere, like that's another great place to be featured, to show those as the feature. So you could go a couple of different directions there. And that's when I'd put more information about you personally. And more about that, I'd talk like why you created this world. And again, this is just the right amount of, and you can approach this anyway. You can take this with a grain of salt, 100%, but it would follow a similar structure to websites that I might like write copy for. But the audience is so different and so unique. You want to figure out what they want. And I think, when I think of my favorite authors who I like, there's like one author that I will buy any book that they write, no matter what. And I want to know what's coming next very early on. I want to be able to find it. I want to know what she's working on. So, a little bit of information up here and here. And then here's where I would dig in. See, you've got your books here. So here's where I come into like what's coming next, what I'm doing, all these things. Oh, you have a kitty named Lucy. I love kitties. You did. I love it. I have a special love in my heart for tabbies. We currently have Marley, the tabby, and his brother, who is not a tabby, his Mac. And you will probably meet them both at one point. They pop up on the back of my chair. Um, yeah. Yeah. I love it. Torties are so cool. Yeah, and I love that you've got the book. Okay. Yeah, yeah, and then I think as you work on the anthologies or the series, I would do a cover for each series and then like a call to action under each. See the full series, see the full series, see the full series, or see the full anthology. because then you can do whether it's its own page, just to show you here, like whether it's its own page for each one or their individual like sections on the page that you anchor to. Oh, I love this. Your book signing. I think you need an events tab too for whether they're online events or so. And so I would go home, about, books, events, and blog, and then contact. Absolutely contact. And I think I'd move privacy policy down to your footer because that's not something that needs to be in the header. I'd move it down here because you have to have them. But yeah, I love this. And are they only available on Amazon right now? Okay. Okay. That's right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I wanna see the video in there. Cover. Yeah, I think that's great. And do you have so social links aren't up here. You could almost, and I say you could almost because I don't know from the tech and what this template lets you do. I would almost put the social link somewhere up here as well as in the footer so people can get there. Sorry, I'm scrolling real fast here. Mhm. Oh, right here. This is it. I gotcha. Or the other thing you could do is add a like an embedded player right in here beneath the book so that it fits right in with it. So it's clearly part of this book. Like see the trailer. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm excited to see how this comes together. You this is not a simple one page, two-page site. There's a lot to it. Um, well, that's great. Something that you could talk about. So this is like the header for your blog. What I'd almost think about doing, and this is a half-baked thought because I'm like it's off the cuff, but if you had like you know how people have their playlist for Spotify or whatever, but if you had your playlist of your top posts or your favorite posts, you know, like maybe, or you could have a list of some of your top categories here, books, personal, dot, da, dot, da, da. Because then people could say, because if I'm going to you to find out what you're working on, what your next book is, I'm going to want to know, like, oh, where's the news? Where's the latest release news? Because I want to know probably more about your life too. Because again, some of these authors, I want to know all about them, right? Because I devour books. But I also like if I'm coming here and I want to like maybe I just finished book 5 in the series and I really am dying to know when book 6 comes out. Um, that's going to be one of the first things I look for. Because I'm like, this is great, but oh, oh my gosh, like I start to like my blood pressure goes up, and I'm like, where's this new book? I want to know. But I love it. Yeah, or top hits or something, because you've got a ton. Wait, I'm going to older entries. There it goes. Okay, yeah. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I think you want all of the stuff. It's hard to maintain two sites, let alone three. So once you have your business site for Tishpiration, once you have your author site, and it does make sense to me to have them separate but linked. Um, I would. There's two reasons that I'd pull those lyrics into this one. One, it's way easier to maintain, and you can, um, what's the word I'm looking for? You can forward the other site links to this site. But you're that way you're also getting the SEO juice too. You're not pushing people off your site. And since you've been here since 2016, you've got some domain authority built up. Yeah. So, I mean, I think I'd really be heavily focused on getting as much SEO juice as you can. And that way, and that gives you one site that you don't have to maintain, because that's the hardest part about WordPress is staying on top of all the updates. Oh, I'm excited to see where you land.
before I update this one because this
Okay.
one's already here
Yeah,
and I need to
that
start
makes
getting
sense.
traction for the new one.
And then the other thing that's really cool is I have, all my clients get what I call the ultimate website launch plan. But basically, it's a checklist of all the things you can be doing so that you're not just like launching your site into the other and you're like, hopefully people find it, but that you can actually use the creation process to generate buzz for what you're doing now. And it's kind of a cool thing to be able to do. And then like you can continue to build on that buzz once you reset Tish McWeber, once you do some of these other things. And that'll just be continual buzz that you're building. I'm excited to see it for you.
Yeah, and one of the things I'm thinking of for this website when I'm done, my new website, is I want to stick with the Divi theme because I've bought it, the Divi theme package. But I would like to take it because what I have right now on the Tish McWeber website is, I think, a child theme within Divi that someone built and put together, and I purchased it to use for my website. And when they did it, they didn't have a store in it, so I, already stuck my foot in the door and tried to mess that around while I was there. Because the boutique, I know there's not a lot on that tab on the website, but it's something that I'm going to just. I think the jewelry is just going to be a hobby right now.
Well, and you could always do, something like Etsy if you decide to do it and then link off to that to purchase. I'm also, you're talking about different ways to sell and ship books. I'm a big fan of Thrivecart. You could do that for Thrivecart, or you could use something like Shopify. And again, I am not the tech person when it comes to sites. I built my own.
Yeah.
And I can tell people like what I think, but I'm like, you could just do that. Like I don't actually, I did my own, but I had someone come in and be like, so did you know that all your buttons are different sizes? And I was like, can you fix that for me?
It makes them wonderful.
I thought they were fun, but you're telling me I need to be consistent. Got it. This is why I'm not the visual design person. But what I like about Thrivecart is you can like integrate little buttons of different things into your page, and they figure out the sales tax and all the things for you. So I'm not an affiliate or anything. I just use them for my own courses and products.
Would that be comparable to WooCommerce?
Yes, but I found WooCommerce really complicated to set up. I tried it and I messed around with it, and there were so many moving parts that I got It set up once perfectly, but then the next time an update rolled through, it just wasn't talking right. And it stressed me out so much that I just pulled the digital products off my site and I started doing other things with them. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Thrivecart. And I think we're right up on the 30-minute mark. So I want to make sure that I know there's someone coming in after me here. So I'm going to take this offline for now. We're going to say thank you for joining me, Tish. We can continue this conversation in just a moment. And yes, we're having coffee together. I don't know about Tish. I can't live without my coffee.
I need it.
A lot of coffee.
To do the things, to do all of the things.
To do all of the things. You're in Canada. I'm from Alaska originally, and now I live in Wisconsin. So we're all fluent in cold weather, and coffee is particularly important in the winter.
Yes, absolutely. It's minus 13 right now, and that's without the wind chill.
Yeah, I think we were -8 Fahrenheit this morning. So I'm not really sure what that ports to, but it's cold. It's cold.
Yeah, it's cold. All right.
All right. So we're going to take this stream offline, and thank you for everyone who joined us. If you have questions, if you want a review of your website copy, drop a comment and we can certainly talk about getting you live here. I can tell you about the new membership that I'm getting ready to launch. Exciting. How's that for a teaser?